So you can start.
Yeah, so let's start this session. So, good morning, everyone, and a very happy Saturday. Welcome to our Mysore MuleSoft Meetup group. Today, we have our speaker, Robin Sinha, who would be walking us through Maven Archetypes. So, in this session, we are going to learn about Maven and its feature, and then how we can make use of it in our project. And we are also going to see how to create template project and how this template project can actually help us to create any project from scratch within a very less time. So before proceeding ahead, let us go through our safe harbor statement together. Okay, so both the speaker and the host are organizing this meetup in an individual capacity, and we are not representing our companies nor we are doing any promotional activities here. And this presentation is strictly for learning purpose, and both the organizer and presenter do not hold any responsibility that the same solution will work for the other business requirements. So for everyone's information, this session will be recorded so that in future, if anyone wants to revisit the video, they can do so. And this session is mainly for the learning purpose. So please don't hesitate asking any questions whenever needed. And feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions or put it over chat box so that we can try answering those. And at the end, please don't forget to provide your valuable feedback about how you like the sessions, or if you have any suggestions, please free to feel free to let us know about it. Uh, Coming to our introductions. So let me start with myself. So hi everyone, my name is Priya Shah, and I'm currently working as a technical lead in LTI Mindtree. So before joining to Mindtree, I have worked with TCS and Cognizant as well. So I'm having over 4.5 years of experience in IT, specializing mainly in integration areas. So I started my career as a IAB developer, and for over 4 years, I'm working majorly on IBM stacks like IAB, ACE, API Connect, Data Power. And it's been 6 months since I started learning MuleSoft, and I'm currently in love with this technology. So that's pretty much about me and my professional career. So now, I'll hand over it to Shubham to talk about himself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Priya. So hi and welcome everyone. So I'll introduce quickly myself. So I am working as a professional integration developer in Millennium. So Giri is not with us today. So I'll just introduce himself. I mean, you guys already know him. So let's just skip it. And so you can connect with us on LinkedIn with me, Priya or Giri. All right. So let's hand it over to the speaker, Robin. So stage is all yours, Robin.
Thanks, Shubham. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Robin.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Robin Sinha. Currently, I'm working as specialist one in Hashin by Deloitte. So, about myself, I have worked in various projects in retail, hospitality, shipment. So, majorly, I've worked in integration domain with Mule 3, Mule 4. I'm MuleSoft certified, AWS and GCP Associate Cloud Engineer certified, so which makes me a multi-cloud engineer. So this I have done in multi-cloud initiative. So today we'll be discussing about Maven, what is Maven archetype, and Maven archetypes architecture, how it is defined, and where we can see it, how we can customize that archetype, and then how it helps in project development. Then we'll be following up with a demo and then a Q&A. So the first question is when we comes when we decide about Maven, what is Maven? So anybody has any idea like what is Maven for them? Like how they describe Maven? Because for different people, Maven, some says Maven is a repo, some says it's a building tool. So how do you have any different idea about Maven that you want to share here? So it's kind of a open discussion forum. We can all share if you have something unique in yours like mind at Maven, how you can describe Maven. Anybody? No. Okay. So basically, Maven is a software management tool. So when we say management tool, it takes care of everything, be it building, be it repo, be it dependency injections, everything. So it follows project object model, which we all know, pom.xml. There you can describe everything. So you can describe the repositories, you can describe the artifact, you can describe the groups, business groups, and you can also add dependencies there. So it's kind of everything. So our like MuleSoft development, basically our APIs are Mavenized, so everything is followed on POM. So your POM is necessary. So whenever an API you deploy, first of all it builds it, and it builds it help of the POM, which is Maven. So without Maven, our MuleSoft currently as present architecture cannot work. So this is the Maven and MuleSoft relation. So let's come to archetype. So we'll follow today. We'll following like we'll discussing more about the archetype. What which this is another feature which Maven provides. So so basically, what is a Maven archetype? So archetype is nothing. It's just like a template. So for example, the use case we'll be discussing for like coming forth. So when we say Maven archetypes, it's just that we are defining that templates are there and to make it standard. So in real world development, there are 60 APIs. In single project, you have to make 70 APIs. We are currently about to cross 90 APIs in our project. So and each there are so many team members, 10 sometimes 20 in different pods. So how you gonna decide like what is the standard way of doing things? Some developer might think that this is the more standard way, this is the more best practice way, and some developer might think that okay, this is the better way. And even solution architect can decide the final standard point, but still there can be more solution architects in one project leading different teams. So again, that is a dispute. So what is the best practice one should follow? And human mistakes, you cannot copy everything. So coming to the use case of this archetype is like there's a new client, they want MuleSoft to do their project. So you are assigned the project, and you decide there are 70 80. So you are in a planning phase, there are 70 80 APIs to be built, and different RPs, different process APIs. But you need to enforce the standards according to them. So it is it's contract basically between you and the client, that there are certain standards you promise them that you will follow in your project. So how to ensure that? Either way, like if you like a architect cannot go and see each and everybody's APIs like folders and file systems to check everything is at place or not. So it is very difficult to enforce standards, and it's very hard to maintain them. Like if you enforce it in the starting, but the projects can go for years, 2 years, team members can come and go. So each time like what you say KT, that point of KT, what you decided in the starting, it's not possible, humanly possible to give exact the KT, like exact KT you are giving to a new resource which is hired 1 year ago. So which is came into this project after 1 year. So again, you can always give all the information, but it's not sure that he will follow or not, or he will grab this much amount of not or knowledge or not. So these are the technical challenges, inconsistent project structures. In today's scenarios, you go and open the APIs, even big service companies, even big product companies, you will see inconsistency if they are not following archetypes, if they are not following templates, if they are directly from studio, they are creating projects and they are then pushing to like committing their code, you will see inconsistency, that is for sure. Again, if there is not a template, again, but still you want to enforce the same standard, so you want 3 files, 4 files like this, naming convention, this and all, like dependencies and all, then it will consume a lot of unnecessary time just to do this one. So just to make to like come to that place where the project will be a standard like file structure project, you are wasting around 10 to 20 minutes and again checking, rechecking human mistakes. So that's the technical challenges we follow. And again, after doing all the things, still in a long run you will find that some of the out of 100 APIs, 10 APIs are there which doesn't meet your standards. So here comes Maven Archetypes. So MuleSoft always tries to push us that you use reusabilities of the API. So that's why this cloud API led activity, like architecture, API led architecture came to existence, that you only make API once and reuse multiple times. So that's why they segregated into experience layer, process layer, and system layer. So that if one system API, there is one system, you can make one API and then interact with different process API and then interact with different experience API, which makes a huge web. And again, only 3 or 4 APIs into work, but you are still working, interacting with different layers. So that's use makes us usable APIs. Similarly, in this way, you can push like your template to exchange. Like there are also common. I can show you. Let's see how much we have. Like the exchange. Go to exchange.
Hey Robin, can you just hide this pop-up?
Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So provided by MuleSoft. So these are the common connectors provided by MuleSoft. If you search template here, you will also find the template provided by MuleSoft. So these are common API template, Maven Archetype, all everything is present here. You can directly import into a studio and work, but it doesn't mean it will meet your kind of standard. Like if what you want, it so what you desire. So these are the default ones. So come back. Let's come back to our PPT. So here, so to create a template, it is a very easy process. Not it's a and it's actually a one-time process. So these are generally done by solution architects. They set the standards, they work, and they then create and push to servers or push to exchange. Mostly they push to Nexus servers. So you will find. So coming to, and these are easily trackable. So coming to my experience, I was working with a German client, and they strictly wanted their uh, APIs to be on archetypes. So some of our developers were not following it, and they itself were like their mule team. They also had their mule team in house. They checked their project, and they like after auditing, they found that some of the APIs were not following archetypes, but even we could not tell from where they told. Like from there, they could find out that these are not archetype templates because those were as same as like ours, like archetype ones. So that is something deep rooted. You can find any code difference. So that a generator, like for example, if I created an archetype, I would know where to find like things where it won't be replicated. Like basically you can, by seeing, you cannot just replicate those things. So even if you can, you will miss something, right? So as an architect, I'll go there and I'll see that this place is missing and this was defined in my archetype, so this is not built on archetypes. So that is something interesting, and that's what makes an architect life easier. So there are basically two kind of commands: create from project. So basically we will be using both of them today. But if some project is like our architect has already pushed to Nexus and any cloud server, and you are just using archetype generate, and you are just giving their IDs, URLs, from where it is coming, what is the domain project, if it has a domain project, from where the location, the artifact ID, and everything, and you just press enter and your project will be created like this soon. And you just name your API what your API name should be, like the new API. And you can create hundreds of API, like hundreds of API, just changing the name on the same pattern in just 5 minutes. So that is what's the benefit of using archetype is. So here we'll be discussing this, as we don't have any Nexus server already, so we will be like learning how we'll modify our archetype template. So this PPT, this slides say that how we can use pom.xml to add extra dependency properties repositories, like how this file set we can add extra files, how these are the variables where we can replace. So we are making custom archetypes. So basically we won't be making single archetype. So every time you name the domain, everything's on the file, like on the project, will be changed according to that domain. So coming back to, yeah, so these are the basically, you give the command and it should run in a proper, like it will run in an interactive mode, and you'll ask for this, your like what your API property should say. So these are the basically things we can change. So core dependency we can add in a single click, same for core global configuration. For so example, you have doing things and every time you need this configuration, right? So why to just not make it automated? Whenever you create the archetype, whenever you generate from archetype, all these will comes automatically. You don't have to explicitly add. So you can see this, like this much files, it saves your time. So there are properties which are common for all your APIs, because it's a single client, it's a single source. So if Salesforce credential for that client is same, so you can directly send through that archetype, and that too, like you don't have to share and then again give that properties to make it secure and encrypted. You can just provide the encrypted properties here and provide the configuration and that key there. So it all will be very easier. And in your Bitbucket you can like in the pipeline file you can give that mule key, or in directly in the repo, like version control system in the settings you can key. You don't have to even share the real credentials. You just every time everything, whenever they create a file, there will be a project built on the archetype. So all the properties will be there, which will also give you like advantage of security leaks, like over security leaks. So these are the safely hidden properties. This will come directly in your archetype. Log4j2 file, if you're adding this log4j2 appender, you don't have to explicitly share the files. Every time it is always will be added directly. You don't have to like manually do it every time. So there are 10 these 10 simple steps and you make your archetype. So from starting, from zero to your fully ready customized archetype, you just need to follow these 10 steps. So let's move to demo. So first we'll see how we can create our custom template from Anypoint Studio, because MuleSoft also provides. It is though limited, it is not customizable like how the archetypes are, but still we can create one. So we'll create one Mule application. Name is template API or template sys API. You can create 3 APIs, something like that. Creating an app. Listener. Okay. Listener is there. Path is test. And a logger. Success. So here there's a HTTP listener with the, and let's add config. So listener config, you added to cloud up connector. Now it's loading. Let's give it some time. This is really slow, like the design part. We don't prefer this. Like nobody prefer this unless they want to test something. Basically, if they want to test some endpoint which needs to be like in the cloud hub only, and you cannot directly hit from your local. So this is a short scenario where you can try those if that is connectivity is there or not.
Robin, we have one question. Like, you want to take it now or later?
Yes, yes, sure.
So I'll read out. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So, is it possible to bulk update existing APIs with Archetype?
Bulk update existing APIs. So you want to change basically the file structures and all everything.
Yes.
Uh, Actually, no. So basically, when you create a project, so you need to create that project. So basically, what you are saying is you want every file and everything. So for example, you have 10 or 20 different APIs, and now you want those 20 APIs to be followed on a single archetype. So the answer is no, you cannot like go back. So it's like a you're going back and creating. So the first step is to create the project from archetype. So archetype is a kind of template. So what your question is revolves is like you want to go back to a template which have 10 different types of structures. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that sorry, the answer is no, because so you want everything. So you can do one thing. You can create a template, and after that you can create a project on that, like bulk shifting, and then there you can do the lift and shift. But you cannot directly go back to a template because they all those have will different dependencies. So it will be very hard. The system won't like understand only like what kind of dependencies they have to take and what you don't. So that is one part you'll have to do. Like lift and shift is the answer to this.
Robin, this is Maxwell here. I just had another question now. When you showed the template and everything, right? The template will simply have all your configurations and your structures already embedded, and you'll have it imported in your project, right? What if I want to configure a RAML based project? How would you go about it then? If I want my RAML also the API kit router to come into picture and generate the flows for me, how would you handle that?
Yes, we can do that. So similarly, when you are doing so, basically, let's take a common example here, which is a health check. So you cannot have like a template should be a common thing. So you cannot have a resource type, for example, which is relating to a single API, but still you can have something like health check to every APIs. So what you will do? So as we created this template, similarly, so this is the Mule application. Similarly, we will create a specification, template specification. So I'm just giving you overview. So otherwise I won't be able to come to the main point. So main part. So here I'll add just one resource. The resource is health check. It will have like a response 200 okay. Success.
So will this be part of the archetype then?
Yes, yes. Every time when you will fetch like when you will create archetype, it will have a API specification with this, like always
Okay,
the health check
okay,
endpoint will be there.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
and you can publish this, and then you just need to import. So every time when you create an archetype, right, so everything, when you generate that archetype from the project, everything will come. So there will be business group IDs you can directly give, URL you can. So that is a concept basically what I was saying about domain project. So domain project basically have all the things which will be inherited to your project.
But
So
domain
that
projects are not supported, right? In Mule 4. I mean, it's not like how in Mule 3 you had one single domain project and all your configs would sit in there.
no, it's supported in Mule 4 as well. So basically, domain projects gives you inherit. Now we use common connectors, but still domain project is as well as good as supported as it was in Mule 3.
Because I think, or it is in specific to RTF, it is not supported or something like that. If I remember last discussion I had, because MuleSoft itself had asked us to not use domain projects if you had planned for RTF and so on.
So basically, when you create RTF, right?
Yeah.
So your deployment, you're just sharing a VPC with the MuleSoft.
Yes.
So maybe that is the reason where MuleSoft recommends you that not to use it. Otherwise, you need to share more thing than required. So maybe that makes it complicated when working with Kubernetes and all. So otherwise, when you're doing a Mule project on CloudHub, it is same as like the earlier, like Mule 3. So basically, domain projects are more used to CloudHub, like management on CloudHub and on-prem. RTF is little bit different, where you share the course, but on-prem and this CloudHub management, we are very good with, like Mule 4 and domain projects.
Okay, so when you say domain projects, you create a separate project altogether with just your configuration, right? Not within a single project.
Everything you want.
Okay.
So this question I recently asked in my MCIA training, that
Okay.
what is, why we are using, like whatever you thought, I also thought, that why we are using that commons, like modules specs, like now, for all, importing all our configuration and all, but not the domain project. Because but common specs takes building time. Specs are limited. Common specs, like common specs are as good as domain project, but still they are benefits of domain project. So domain projects have so many features which common projects don't have it. So like common modules don't have it. Okay, so you publish it basically, and you import in your like the project you are going to create with, like archetype with. So let's come to this. So I have two API templates. Template sys API created, and this is template system API, template API. This is rest, like, which is the RAML spec basically. So it will have health check and all, same as it was. API is up. So now let's go to Studio. Let's import project from template. So I can, I think I created this just now, template sys API. Open. You can similarly search for any other assets which is provided by MuleSoft. So this will give you templates sys API, whatever I created on CloudHub, like basically all, everything, any whatever I created on platform. So this listener key and this logger key. So let's search for any other project template. So mm, let's see, flow designer template, email, Facebook, anything. Okay, common API template archetype. Let's have this in our system. Okay. Okay. So in here, what will happen, that every dependencies will be downloaded. It may happen. Okay, so it is not present, like it won't be supported. You may have to like use, like have prerequisites in your system. So configuration, I wanted simple template. Why it's not showing up here? So this is how you import error bar template using. The file may be corrupt. Okay, so this is how you download the template, and it will be a Mule project with this template will be created in your system. Let's not waste time on like searching a template which will work. There is always a like documentation to this template, where it tells you what are the prerequisites, what are the things you are required for before downloading this like template. And some are also paid, so you need to have a like a subscription with the MuleSoft, and some are like free resources present here. So this is our template API, which I used from like like a solution architect will push it to your Cloud Hub, and from your Anypoint platform, you can just pull it this up. And y- now we will be creating a template, like basically a customized template. So to save time, I have one jar. I think it was in music temperature. So here what we'll be building is common services. You will have in every, like every API, you will have one common services, basically all the common files. So this is, so basically you need to generalize the how generic it can be, so that it will be more usable. So you don't have to go and delete in your API. So for example, if you create a SAPI, it should be a generalized SAPI. So you don't have for you, and if you're creating a system specific SAPI, like for example Salesforce SAPI, then it will should be a generalized SAPI to Salesforce. So it doesn't mean you will include everything in that template, so that every developer, when they are creating a like project from it, they have to delete it, delete some resources or something. That is just abundant, like redundant task. So just make as generic it can be. So domain implementation file you always have, domain interface file you always have, global configs you always have, and global error handling you always have. Let's see in resources. So there is a log4j2 file. Here we are adding new relic. So we are referencing to New Relic. So for example, some client follow New Relic. They want every APIs to be New Relic, like logging enabled. So you don't have to manually go and put every time. You just need to define in your archetype and you're good to go. So these are local config file, and I'll just say check like domain dev domain config file. So for example, for dev credentials like MQ, SFMC, for example, marketing cloud, you have clients marketing cloud like properties. You don't have to like manually go and give in each and every file. For example, you have different for dev, different for prod, different from like test. In the real scenarios, what we do currently is like, and like not a standard practice, but people share it and they just copy paste and place every time. If not share it, they do what they do is they replicate an API, existing API, and take it from there, or just lift and shift is going on like throughout the industry. This is the unstandard practice, but still we are doing it. So let's let's create a template from this. So to create a template, first of all you need Maven. So the prerequisites for creating this is, let's check. First you should have, you need to check if you have Apache Maven in your system or not. If there's no Maven install, you won't be able to check, you won't be able to perform any of those tasks. So Maven is also there, like you don't have to, like in the studio it is inbuilt, so you cannot use that. You need to install a different Maven so that you can work on your command prompt and you can create archetypes from that. So coming back to this, the second prerequisite is you should have a settings.xml. So settings.xml will look like something like this. So here it will, when you create your archetype or anything, you generate archetype, here from here it will take from where you need to. So this is Anypoint server. Here you can give your Nexus server, anything where you need to grab that archetype from. So this is a prerequisite. You should have it in your system in your .m2 folder, because all the repos, all the archetypes, it is saved in your local .m2. So what happens, you run when .m2 file from your local, first it will check always if that dot m, like in .m2, that if that company name, group ID name, and then you will check. First they will check if archetype, if any dependency, anything, if it is available there, it will grab it from there. If it is not there, then it will go to this Nexus URLs, like servers basically. So let's go into System Explorer. So here I have my template. Now I'll I'll create like a template, like basically an archetype template. So when you go inside target, we have classes, test classes and all, but now we are going to create an archetype from it. So before creating an archetype, we are going to create like this archetype properties. This archetype properties are nothing but referential like variables which we'll be using while mapping our, when we are going to use the command like command prompt, and we are mapping the variables. So all the domains will be replaced by domains. This artifact id will be replaced by artifact id, just the declaration of variables. So now I go into this template, I open cmd. Now we are here. Let's run our first command. So the commands are very easy, very generic. So now what we are saying is we want to create from this project a archetype using those archetype properties. So let's copy this, come back, paste, enter. Oh, two times. Okay, let's see if it works. So it got generated. So let's check what is the difference. Now if you go to the target, you see generated sources, you get your archetype basically. The source main resources, these are archetype resources. In your meta info you get archetype.meta, yeah, like XAML. So let's go to our project first. We have dwls yamls, okay, and these are the like files we are going to change. We have log4j2 thing we need to change, like we want in every our projects, like in our every projects now. But somehow I see that I still want to customize, it like this, like file structure. What I'll do, I can still change it even after that. So I'll change this metadata. Let's come back to this. Okay, I think it is already open. Yeah. So if you can see, these all are basically file directories, how it is set.
Hey
Now,
Robin, are you sharing the proper screen? I think I can see just your Notepad plus plus.
as of
No,
now,
no, I can see. Yeah, Notepad plus plus. So
Yeah, I
are
think
you
he's
yes,
sure?
sharing a different screen, right?
like from that time you are like seeing like notepad plus plus only
Yes,
continuously. No,
yes.
I'm sharing. I'm not able to see my CMD.
No, it was there, but currently Notepad plus plus is up.
Uh, can you
No,
see
no. For
now?
us, no. For us,
Yes,
I can see the
yes, it's
CMD.
visible for me as well. Yeah. I think it's some
Maybe
network.
you can check your network connection,
Yeah,
Okay,
try to
because
reconnect.
sometimes it takes time to update. Yeah, on your end. For me, I think it should work fine.
I think he needs to rejoin.
I
No,
No, no.
no.
You continue. You
You
are
okay,
can
good to go.
continue.
okay.
let me check.
So let's move forward. So these file sets are there. So main resources, but what I need this inside that mail dot like resources. I need one more file. So I'll just copy this, paste, and enter. And in sources directory, I want I want to create one more directory created, which is examples. Okay, so I'll save this. Now I have source main resource examples also created. So I change the metadata of my archetype here. So this .bak file is just what Windows creates when you're working on it. So we are good here. Let's see what are the like what is the POM. So basically these are like the referencing POM. Let me go back. Let me check the real POM. Where is that real POM? Source main archetype. Check. Yeah. So this is the real POM of our archetype. So com.mycompany API template archetype, snapshot. This is the version, this is the packaging. Okay. Now we'll, this is just created. Okay, now we need to install it. Like it's still not in our system. So if you go, I should have given some different name. Let me check if I can do it still. API template. I didn't want this com.my company, but still let's go. Let's check if it is created. Like it's not yet installed, but we'll see that how it gets created. So we'll go to users, see users, my name, M2. This is settings.xml you need to place in your M2 folder. Com and my company. Here like all the archetypes, all the like dependencies you have, it will be kept here only. So under com.mycompany. So this is archetype I created now. Like let's check if my archetype will show up now or not. So we are inside this API template, but now we need to go to this archetype template. Like inside this archetype module, let's create one more file. It was, I think, in C. Let me copy where this was. Users only. Okay. Here our API template was there. Here is target generated resource, and we are inside our archetype. Now we'll do a cmd. Now we'll install this archetype. Nvm install. For running this command, we don't have any this archetype, like we have only POC archetype. Now we'll install this command. So we have successfully installed this in our repo. So you can see this archetype. So this archetype is now installed in our systems. Now we can easily create multiple APIs on the basis of this API. So multiple APIs. This is just a template, and everything will have it will be inherited to our APIs. So now we don't need this. We are good. So let's go where we want to create our file. So as we have it in local, so everywhere it will be accessible. So let's go to music. Let's create one in music. Okay. So this is the command. So the command basically is MVM archetype, like Maven archetype generate, and here gives the information, whatever you need to. So I'll tell you one thing. See, this will fail. I'll tell you why. Okay, this is. Here I'm pasting this, but here my group ID is business group ID is different because it is coming from my Anypoint's platform. This poc.archetype is different again, which is we are not going to use that. So what we'll do, we'll go back here in the POM of that archetype which we created. So let's from here also you can check, but let's go from where our archetype was kept. So not music. Okay, we are good with this now. See this Endpoint Studio meetups, and you go and see this API template, target, generator, source, archetype, and POM. Just copy this. So I need this group ID, So I'm telling my computer to generate it using specific this ID only. So let's check, change the group ID. Let's change that architect, like archetype ID. So you can have different versions, right? So you, when you need to push new version, you just change the, create one more and just everything will be same, but you will change, only you will change that, the versioning of that archetype. This you gave them archetype. I missed E. So this small errors also will not lead, like will give errors if you don't copy exactly. This is this version. I don't think so I have given version. Okay. Okay, that's the same. So this time this was API like template, but I need to I want to change the domain this time. So wait. Okay. Okay. Now it is yeah, okay. Okay. Here I want something domain as like retail sys API. So I need to check if I have added API or not everywhere. So still need to. So what is the description? Retail system API. Okay. So let's go ahead and just let's enter. It will start creating a project like there, and now it will go to. So what is the property now? Now it wants what property does you want. So I want uh, retail chain, my retail dot, or I want it in com only. So com dot retail chain. So this will be my group, that it's a retail chain business. Artifact ID. So artifact ID, what do you want as your project name? So again, it will be same as domain name. Retail sys API. Whatever you give here will be domain will be replaced. That word will be. So right now I'm trying to do is like how like it will be replaced. So according to that, you need to make your naming conventions. What is a snapshot? It will be 1.0.0 package, just a default one. It's saying just check everything is fine or not. A domain should come here. We'll need to check if we miss something. Okay, let's check. Let's enter. We gave the domain there only, so it didn't ask here. So let's check if we have a file or not that are there. So let's check in music. So we say that a retail chain like got created, mule is there, all those are there. See domain, I told you know, like there's something missing with the domain. Let's check what happened. YAMLs. So this example got created, though it was not our initial API, but still when we get like we change the file set, it got created. This new relic connector came, like new relic configuration came automatically. What is this domain? This domain didn't work. Did we give? Can create one more. That is not a problem. Let's check what we gave in domain. This is fine. In okay. source main resources. Got created, but this this is basically the like passing path, so everything will be whatever it will take. So here also it is not created as it should be created as a property, then only it will change. So that is the problem. So in our initial only the domain was not picked up in the archetype. So let's check the target meta info. This is thing. Okay. So when we were creating the command, let's try one more time. Quick manner. So this is, let's change it to new API template, and let's everywhere new. Let's in the pom add com dot new company, and here also you need to change new API template and new API template everywhere. Let's change the snapshot. This save, go to source, custom editor, and then inside it cmd. I think as our command was like written twice, so it didn't take the properties correctly. So let's paste it once this time. Project archetype. Okay, why it is not in the whole properties. So actually it didn't take only these properties. That is the reason. It's not, you can directly generate, but it has to take it from your properties. That is the ultimate goal. So Maven archetype create from project and properties. This should be same as this. It's just matching. This is the file name. Archetype properties. Artifact ID, domain, API description. Let's save this. Let's close this. This is there. Let's check we have naming right. Archetype. Okay, see, I got where the problem was. Should be archetype dot properties. So create from project archetype dot properties, and we are this. Keys. So this looks good. Doc properties looks, everything looks good. Let's check this time. It got created. Let's check. We didn't delete that archetype, so let's check. We have two archetypes out of this. Target, generated, source, name, resources, type resources. This is all referenced. Sources. Let's check the POM. New company. Okay. New company, everything came as the new one. So we know that it's got updated. Now we'll just install it. Install. We'll check our new archetype is created or not in our new folder. So it should be under, not in music, but this PC users, C users dot M2. This is little bit technical only for the first time. So it takes time only for the first time when you're doing twice or thrice on a daily basis. Like you, even it is done only at once in the starting of the design, after designing the project. So new company, and I got new archetype, and everything is fine this time. So let's now create again a new project in music only. So let's md, let's copy this command. Let's replace here only. So new company, actually this is a different laptop which I generally use. So it's very difficult for me to use a mouse today. So domain, let's keep it customer only this time, that customers I want every time. Or let's say it's a SAP sys API. Okay, let's say this is SAP API. Everything looks fine. Let's copy. Let's go back to music. Let's go to CMD. I think I already opened a CMD in music. Let's paste. Let's check. SAP SAPI group, new company, archetype is new template, version same. Press enter. Active mode. Group ID is com dot. Let's take that only. What we took, retail chain artifact ID is SCP sys API 1.0.0. No domain. See, this time it took from properties. Now we are good. Now let's check our got created or not. SAP system API. Let's go and quickly import this in our file so that we can check directly. File system pieces API. No, sorry. Pieces API folder. Okay, it's already there. Okay, project name is CP API. It's already there. It's asking for this only. This is finish. Let's check our SPSS API. Okay. Got created, but why duplicates? Maybe this you need to fine tune. So this should have like got replaced, but this time it got like got created what I wanted. Basically, this implementation interfaces for every project. This domain should have like gone, but still somehow it's stayed. And this time we didn't add examples, so examples were not there. So again, we wanted our domain. So dev domain, like dev SAP sys API config.yaml should be there. And I think this happened because we didn't delete our earlier archetype. So earlier archetype was also there. So some of the referencing variable should have like stayed. So that's why if you do it from fresh, so basically you if the properties you pass correctly from the first time, like on the like at first time only your properties got injected there correctly, and if you build it your archetype, this won't come. So that I like I'm thinking this is the reason, this is the cause. So it will be everywhere the domain word is used. So dev SAP sys API SAPI config. So we don't need to rename also. We don't need to, everything will be there by its own. So it will be SAP implementation every time SAP sys API, whatever you give domain. So you want customer implementation, that is also fine. Common resources are also there. My all the properties came. So key was there. So key came. Let's check. Let's match one by one. So I gave global config this HTTP listener, and let's check our global config is this global config this. So all the properties came, everything came. So we didn't have to manually do it anything. Our project template is ready, like all the log4j2 sm. So I just minimize, like minimize use the things. It can go to more deeper, more generic, and more things which like how much properties you need to add every time you are doing it, like whenever you are doing making a project. So you can see that there are 15 or 16 common, like every time object store will be there, so object store property will be there, it's the same. So cloud hub config mqs, it's the same for similar type of environment. So when you create it, you publish it, you afterwards you just create from archetype. So if you, so this time right now the archetype is in my local. So if I do what I do, I'll do what is like I'll push that archetype to uh, an access any server. So then a developer just need to go there. So just need to copy this anytime, just everything will be same. So archetype will be same. Here I don't want to copy this now again and again. So let's check if home works. Okay, copying everything. Touchpad. So you just need to paste there. So every time group ID will be there. Group ID can be your business group ID from your platform. Artifacts, your domain can be your whatever you want to rename it to, and just press enter. So you can create thousands of APIs. Like you sitting a day, you can create multiple replicas of APIs with different, like, customized APIs, API, SAPI, process API. You just need, so for example, if you have three domains, like three kind of templates, you just need to change the name of the template. So this group ID will be same. Here it will be, right now it's basically new API template. I just will change the name. Everything will be same. We'll check the version, press enter. I will create a process API with all new different like dependencies and all. Everything will be there in your project. So this came. I used an object store. Then there should be an object store connector dependency. So everything came automatically. I didn't had to do anything. Artifact got replaced. This group ID chain, retail chain got replaced. So didn't literally had to do anything. So similarly, for more customization, what you can do, you can write a shell script for doing all this automated time. So every time after writing, one developer can write, like architect can write self, like shell script, and every time what they will have more customizer. So you can ask, like you can just ask one by one, so what kind of API you want. So if people ABC process system, they can click A, it will create a system like a process API. It will ask the name of your API. So in the backend, these commands will be running only, but in front end, it will be like more like a CMD front end, and you will be asking, okay, I want to create this API, like, and you can also ask the dependencies. So depending on that, you can run the command. You can have more archetypes, like more archetypes saved in your server or repository, and they will ask what kind of dependency you want to have it, like a SAP, are you working with Salesforce, and you just click and everything will be bundle package and you will create in your system, and you just need to import in your studio and work. So that is one thing we can do in that again is a feasible if the project is very big. There are so many persons working and you want a standard template, like a standard file structure, everything will be same for every project. So it will look like like a company is doing a project, not a person is doing, because each developer has their own mindset, has their own way of writing. So making like maintaining standardization is very hard these days, as the APIs is increasing and as we are going to more RESTful services and like going to more MuleSoft, that is. So this is not limited to MuleSoft. Basically, Maven archetypes can be used in other projects as well, Java projects as well. And like, so if you go and research, you can find that there are ways to create those archetypes in many such projects, like different kind of tools, not only to MuleSoft. So by this, I think, any questions? Let's go back to PPT. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
We don't have any questions in the chat, so if anyone wants to ask, feel free to enable your mic and ask.